The learning zeh Nishmas Etta Ahuva Basak Masachas Midos Perigimel Mishnah Beis Ubekerem Maravetz Droimis Hayushnei Nekavim K'Mishnei Chaytman Dakim Shadamim Hanitten Hayisei Maravi Hayisei Droimi Yarda Behen U'Misarvim Ba'ama V'Yetzel L'Nachal Kidron. In the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach on the Yisai, there were like two small holes, like small nostrils, that the Shiyarei Chatas Panimi, which went on the Yisai Maravi, and the Shiyarei Chatas Chitzoni, which went on the Yisai Droimi, the dam will go down in them, get mixed up in the Amma in the stream, which will let out to Nachal Kidron. The Mishna Yomi in the 5th Perek adds on that they would sell this dam to the gardeners over there, and the money becomes money of Hagdish, and then they were able to use the dam. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to use the dam. It would be Midarabanan, you'd be over Me'ilah. Midaraisa, there's no Me'ilah on dam, which we spoke about in Maseches Me'ilah. So we'll get back to this Mishnah in a second. It's an interesting Rambam, but let's first see Mishnah Gimel starts off, Ulamata beritzba ba'isei hakerem, makam ha'yisham amal ama, v'tava shel shayis, v'tabasa isei kavua ba, she'yibo yarden l'shis, u'menakin isei. On the floor, southwestern area, there was a tile that they were able to remove. There was a ring on it. And within there, they went down to what's called the shisin, and they would clean it out. What are they cleaning it out from? They're cleaning it out from the yayin of the misachim that became hard. That's mevur in the Gemara in Sukkah, Daf Mem Tesam and Alf. When it brings down this thing, it calls it that there was a lul over there. And once every 70 years, the young kohanim went down and they cleaned out the yayin karish. The Rosh also says that this machlokes tanoim, whether the shisim were yarden al tahim or not. And our Tana is not going that it was yard ad tahim. Therefore, it needed to be cleaned out. So going back to Mishnah Beis, our Mishnah says that the shisin was this area where the Nesachim went down to. But Mishnah Beis is not called shisin. That was something else. It was two nekavim that went down to the Amma and went out to Nachal Kidron. However, the Rambam in Hilchos Beis HaBechira, at the end of Mishnah Beis, last Mishnah, he says, V'hein ha-nekra in shisin. So the Likutim on the side of the Mishnayos and others is a Chazon Ish, also in Likutim, in Kadshem, Likutim, Siman Gimel, that speaks about that it appears in the Rambam that the Shisin had mixture together of the Yayin from the Nesachim and the Dam, and it's the same Shisin that we're talking about, that they all wound up in the same place. Ayin Sham. The Mishnah ends off, Mishnah Gimel, V'kevesh hayu l'droime shel mizbeach shloshim v'shnayim arochav sheish esrei. The width was 32, like the width of the Mizbeach, and it went down 16 amas. The length was 32, like the same length of the Mizbeach. The width did not take up the whole side of the Mizbeach. It only took up 16. So it was 8 amas extra on the right and 8 amas extra on the left. It had some indentation of sorest on its west side. Over there they put the psuli chatas ha'if. If it became possible, they would put it over there. And since that was done on the Maravis Shloimie, so that's why they did it on that side, the Rosh speaks out. In the Gemara in Psachim, on Daf Lamed Daled, the Rosh brings down that there's machlokes whether it's the psul tumah, whether it's a psul tumah when you have hesach hadas or psul aguf. But the point is that you need Ibra Tzura, you need to wait till overnight. Until overnight, you would leave it in this area. Again, over here, there's a Rambam in Hilchos Beis HaBechira that says, V'chaloin hoisa b'marava shel kevesh amal ava. There was a window, like an indentation on the western part of the ramp. V'revuva hoisa nekrash, shaba noisim psulei chata sa'if. And the Ravid over there says, Loi ki ela chaloin levad v'revuva levad. There's two separate things. You're mixing it up. There's a chaloin and there's a revuva. V'kachi shnuya b'meseches Midos. So the Kesef Mishnah over there says, Shusa demar lo yadana. I don't understand what's the Ravid bothered about. The only Mishnah that we find in Meseches Midos is our Mishnah, and it says that it was a revuva isinekras. So what is the Ravid referring to, that there was a chaloin and a revuva? So the Likutim, again over here on the side of the Mishnayos, wants to be miyashiv what the Ravid is bothered about, that he's just bothered with the word chaloin. Why does the Rambam say that there was a chaloin? The only thing our Mishnah mentions is a Ravid. It's interesting lashon over there. He says, "Vani ba'ani kinanis al gabe yanik," like I'm like a midget amongst giants. But zechisi lahave and lafia nias daita shusa the maran Ravid. I'm able to understand what the Ravid's kasha was.